Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It is a balmy 6 degrees Celsius out today, or 43 degrees Fahrenheit. The weather is going to get even warmer tomorrow, and it'll be warm for the next few days. I noticed my trees were a little dry out here on the benches, and it's above freezing today, so I'm going to give them a water. There's still no rainwater to be had. It's still frozen, so I have to use tap water. I'm using cold tap water. That should be about the right temperature for watering the trees today. I had rabbits nibbling on the larch trees. You can see how they've chewed the top off most of the branches. I think they'll recover just fine, and they'll probably be even better bonsai because of this severe pruning. So I put them up on the bench here so the rabbits can't get to them. But I have another set that the rabbits did get to. Over here I have another set of larches, and these are the ones Jonathan gave me. And I thought they were safe up here, but I guess they weren't. The rabbits must have climbed up on the bench, and you can see they're really chewed down. But again, these are going to be better bonsai because of it. You can see the buds coming out on the trunk there. They have a few little branches, so they'll be fine. It's going to be interesting developing these trees. Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I think they'll become really nice trees in the end. I've got my bucket of cold water out here and my watering can. So let's get watering. I'll start the watering at the end of the bench here and work my way down, giving them all a thorough watering. Just like that. I also need to give all the trees in the greenhouse a water. I don't know if I could call this a greenhouse anymore. It's more of an orange house. All right, I'll get all the trees watered inside here also. Spring is always exciting here in Canada, but it's also kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of that Monty Python skit where, you know, they say, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. Hopefully we don't have any, but, you know, the conditions here are so up and down that it's hard to keep every tree alive. It always seems like you get one or two that die over the winter, and yeah, it may be just, you know, it got too dry or too cold or too much wind, or maybe you just don't know. Fungal disease, who knows? But so spring is very exciting. The trees that make it are fantastic. Those that don't, oh, it's always sad. But that's the way it goes. And that is about it. Yes, indeed. So everything in the greenhouse is watered now. So I'll continue watering the ones outside, giving them a second soaking, making sure that soil is thoroughly saturated with water. The bench here is in the shadow of the fence in the winter, so it doesn't get much sunlight on it. And as you can see, everything's still frozen on this bench, so I don't need to water any of these trees yet until they thaw out. It feels so good to be outside in the warmth here. Fantastic. It's been a long time coming. It'll probably get quite cold again. It kind of goes up and down in spring, but you just have to appreciate the good days when they come and bundle up for the cold days. I finished outside here watering all the trees, so let's head indoors now. Here we are back inside now. Yesterday I finished cementing the top of the temple to the midsection, so you can see all the faces there. I made these intermediate blocks here, which kind of helps the transition. I've been getting a lot of questions wondering what tree am I going to put on here. And I mentioned a ficus tree, but I need to pick out an actual tree to go on this temple. And it may be several trees. I may have, one growing kind of on this side, another one over here. But I'm thinking of using a tiger bark ficus. I have my tiger bark ficus here, a root over a rock planting. This is an artificial rock. I can show you it here. It's made of cement over I think it was a sponge I used as the core. And it looks quite good. It's working quite well. And I was thinking this tree, this was given to me by Michael from our club. He air layered the top off of this tree and he gave me the bottom part, and I regrew all this structure to it. But it's already kind of on top of a rock. There's a view of it. And you can see it's kind of gripping the rock already. There's a lot of roots going around it. So it wouldn't be hard to reposition these roots to grip the side of the temple, or, coming down off of the top of the temple. So this might be a really good tree to remove from this rock and use with my temple planting. These tiger bark ficuses, they have naturally small leaves, which is really nice. They've got a really interesting bark texture on them, which is also really nice. And they grow aerial roots really easily. They take to pruning really easily. You can prune them back hard and they sprout new branches. So they're a really good tree for bonsai. And they would fit in with this temple planting really well. The tiger bark ficus here would be a good tree to put on the temple, but it's just one possibility. I'm going to keep my eyes open. Any ficus microcarpa would work really well on this temple planting. I'll keep my eyes open. I might start with a smaller tree. Maybe even, some of those tiger bark ficus cuttings from the Cityscape diorama. I might steal one or two of those trees out of that planting, or try and develop more cuttings from those trees to get, I don't mind starting the trees young on the temple and then having them develop alongside the temple so they really kind of grip the temple and grow with the temple. So right now, this tiger bark is fairly thick, actually, for the temple planting. It would look good. I don't think it's too thick, but I might, be better off to start with a younger tree. I'll have to see. It'll be something I determine when the temple's all done, I guess, and I can, take a look at all the possibilities, try out different trees, and try and find kind of the perfect composition, I guess, or a good composition. Another possibility of a tree I could use with my temple planting is a dwarf Schefflera. They also get aerial roots really easily, and they get nice bark on them as they get old. It gets kind of a nice texture. So yeah, and you can get them quite small cuttings and I could grow it on the temple. It would look quite good. So that's, another possibility is a dwarf Schefflera. Another possibility for a tree for the temple would be my Ficus microcarpa, the one that's growing in a 3D printed Vietnam-style bonsai pot. This tree is about the right size, and these trees also take to pruning really well. They get aerial roots. They're fantastic trees. The tiger bark ficus is a Ficus microcarpa. It's a variation of it. It has just slightly different texture on the bark and a little smaller leaves and just slightly different growing characteristics. But yeah, both would be fantastic for the temple planting. Another possibility of a tree for the temple planting is one of these willow leaf ficuses. This one is probably too big for the temple, but I could get smaller ones or cuttings of these and grow them on the temple and develop them, as I say, a young plant, and then develop the root system so it thickens up and really attaches to the temple really well. But yeah, a great variety for bonsai. I would say they're a little more finicky than a Ficus microcarpa, but you know, still really good. They can take cutting back. They're not as finicky as a Ficus benjamina, for instance. They're somewhere in between. Another really good tree that would look good on the temple is this Ficus natalensis. They grow aerial roots really easily. The leaves can be reduced really nicely. They have a nice leaf shape. They get nice bark on the trunks. It would be fantastic in this temple. The only thing is that they're from Africa and the temple is Cambodian, so the two might not mix that well, but it would be an excellent species. It'd look really good on this temple. I've had a lot of people wondering, how much does this temple weigh? And I did weigh it. It weighs about 8 kilograms or around 17 something pounds. So it's not too bad, you know, I can lift it really easily. Once it gets the base on it, it'll be a little heavier, and the pot and the soil and the trees, but as I said, it'll be a 4-hand bonsai, or 2 people will be required to lift it. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.